Hi everybody. I'm 40 and I'm single. So as you might expect, I've gotten really into historical European sword fighting. So well, seriously, I have in my car, I've got like 8 different types of swords because when I get lonely and sad about 3 in the morning, I buy a sword. And after I spend about $1,500 on swords, I started thinking, maybe I have a problem. And then I realized, being lonely sucks, swords are awesome, I don't have a problem, I have a fucking solution. Because when you have like 8 swords in your car and 2 fencing mats, you have something to bring to a friendship. Because I wasn't making it do on personality alone. But someone's having a party, they're like, hey, call the guy with the swords. And you go over, and you guys tie on a couple of 6-packs, and you break out like, sabers and long swords like the mountain in Game of Thrones. You will remember that party for about as long as it takes your fingers to heal up. Because broken fingers are a problem, and they take about 2 months to heal. Because who wants to buy gloves? Like, you're feeling lonely and sad, you buy a sword, you feel happy. No one's like, I need some protective gear. I need something to protect myself. That's not a decision you make at 3 in the morning. That's a decision you make at 8 in the morning the next day when you go to the pharmacy. I call that joke Plan B. Guys, don't leave. So, like I said, I produce a show third Saturday every month, so if you ever want to come back again, it's some really great comics today. Go for the comics. So, let's see. I wasn't planning on doing this set, but the previous MC we had got a flat tire, and he's like, I can't make the show. And I'm like, do you know how this affects me? And he's like, what, you mean the way I can't go to work the next day because I have a flat tire? I was like, yeah, but I need a new MC. I got to fill 10 minutes of stage time. Really, you've really inconvenienced me. Because that's what happens when you're an egotist. But my friends put up with it, I think. Anyway, so we had to rearrange things up a bit, but I want to talk about politics for a bit. And I know that's kind of a rough subject these days because everything going on. But I want to talk about kind of the context of dating. Because when you date someone, you got to have certain things in common, or at least enough in common to make a relationship last the requisite 3 weeks. So I started thinking, I'm at a point in my life where I would rather date a murderer than a Republican. Now, not just any murderer, a murderer who shares my values, my progressive liberal values, like someone who goes out and kills rich people. Like if they kill a CEO once a month, I don't mind. Just trimming the fat off society, one less bloodsucker. And I figure I'll be safe in that relationship because I'll never be rich enough to be a target unless I make it big enough that I'm like headline the Comedy Store. And if I have achieved that, where I get rich enough doing comedy, that she's going to kill me, that's a life well lived. Like, you achieve your dreams and you die the next day. That's good, because you'll got time to fuck it up, the way I do with relationships. But I mean, a Republican, see, I really can't stand Republicans. And I'll tell you why. Because they don't even have the dignity to just do things wrong and not get caught like the rest of us. They change the fucking laws before they do the wrong thing. That's like, hey, I want to rob a bank, but I don't want to go to jail, and I'm not smart enough not to get caught, so I'll pass a law saying it's legal to rob banks. And then they just rob the bank. And then they break the law anyway, after they did that. Meaning that, so, you guys know Disney, right? You hear a little corporate called Disney? So, about 15 years ago, around the mid-90s, they realized that their copyrights on all their material, right? Their copyright on Mickey Mouse was about to expire. And the rest of us, when we fucking come up against a law, we're like, oh, we're going to lose this benefit under the law. Like if you got 20 years to get something under the VA home loan, when 20 years runs out, you're fucked like the rest of us, right? Disney goes, no, we'll just change that law. And they spent like $500 million lobbying. And now they extended the copyright law for 10 more years. Do you understand that kind of money that they made by changing the law to keep copyright for 10 more years? They made billions of dollars. You spend $500 million to change the law so you can make $1 billion more, and they bought fucking Marvel with it. If it wasn't for fucking Disney changing the law, we'd have R-rated Marvel movies. That's something to get angry about, people. Because I want to see a movie where Cyclops bones the shit out of the White Queen. And if Disney hadn't changed the law, those comic book characters would be part of the public domain, which means we could have legitimate porn featuring Cyclops and the White Queen without worrying about calling it parody. Characters could be used for anything, which means we could have Superman and Cyclops in a comic book together and it wouldn't suck. Well, it probably suck. I mean, the writers still are writers. They're still comic book writers. Anyway, how'd that go, guys? I wanted to rant about being a liberal for a bit. Things have gotten rough. When I'm not doing this, I'm a lawyer. I don't look it, do I? You should see how my clients feel. The only thing standing between me and prison, I just made a huge mistake. Well, another huge mistake that got me into court where I was facing prison in the first place. And when I became a lawyer, well, being a lawyer is a very lucrative, prestigious position to have in 2008. But then the economy crashed and I graduated in 2010 because I got timing, which is the essence of comedy. So, mostly what I do is make the world safe for annoying texters. Like, sometimes I have to go to court for restraining orders, or people get restraining orders for text, and if I can make the case good enough, instead of issuing a restraining order, the judge will say to my client, like, grow the fuck up. And that's helpful, because my clients tend to do that. But, this is advice I have for you guys. Now, I won't talk anything specific, because there's a confidentiality, but let me tell you some advice. No matter how heartbroken you are, and I know it's okay to be heartbroken, happened to me all the time, you cannot text your ex-girlfriend, I'm probably going to murder you. I know you were going to do it, but you can't. That kind of specificity is called criminal threat, and it's illegal under California law.
Your destination is on the left.
Look, I get you want to leave, but can't you get directions in the car? Does saving 30 seconds make a difference? I've been looking forward to this all month. Figure out your cell phone. Get a teenage kid. Where was it? Anyway, so that kind of specificity is illegal under the law. What you need to do is to introduce some ambiguity. You gotta say something like, there's a small, but statistically significant probability something terrible is going to happen to you in the next 3 years.
Okay.
Or, if you want to get a little more obscure, a little more recherché, that's your word for the day, then you might say something like, vis-a-vis our recent breakup, your existence resembles that of Schrodinger's cat.
Either in or outside the box.
Yeah, exactly. You have about 50% chance of being alive or dead. So, like my relationships. And so, got some heckling from the peanut gallery. Which is only fair because I gave it out. And so, the rest of you don't know Schrodinger's cat, you can Google it when you will get a chance. Or not. If there's a 50-50 chance of you Googling it or not, that would be exactly appropriate. So, I want to introduce some STEM, some science, technology, engineering. You may not be entertained, but you'll learn something. And, see, before I was a lawyer, I went to college and I studied philosophy because I really wanted to be unemployed. I make some dad decisions, guys. And I'm not just talking fashion. And when I studied philosophy...
That was funny.
How would you know?
That was funny too. That's it.
Thank you, Dave. So, play the fucking flute. And so I studied philosophy. I didn't want to study philosophy. I wanted to create my own philosophy. And so I did. And so I developed a philosophy called nihilistic minimalism. That's the belief there's nothing and very little of it. Take your time. And I also wanted to develop a religion. So I developed a religion called pantheistic atheism. That's when you proudly disbelieve in a wide pantheon of gods. Because I can't make a decision which god I want to not believe in. There's so many good ones you could not believe. You could not believe in Odin, you could not believe in Thor, but don't not believe in Thor. Because he's the god of lightning. If you fuck up and you're wrong, you're going to get struck by lightning, and that's no way to end a life of disbelief. Gotta have faith, people. And, so, being a lawyer is pretty damn great, I'll tell you. Alright? Because, well, like in 2018, I'm broke all the time, but that's mostly because of my addiction to swords. And But I had a client who was getting interviewed by the sheriff's department in West Hollywood, so you can guess his orientation. And he asked me to come in there with him, and I did because I was being paid to. And the sheriff starts asking me questions, and I got to say to the sheriff, "No, we're not here to talk about that." Now, I want you to think about that. Have you ever had a fucking cop come up to you and start grilling you, and you get to say to the cop, "No, that's not what we're gonna do," and he doesn't shoot you? That's a fucking perk of my job. I mean, there's not a whole lot. It's not like there's law groupies or anything like rock musicians. But, like, you know, you get to say some things that otherwise would lead you to be arrested if not killed. So, on that note, I will let you brew on that it's pretty great to be able to wave off the cops and not get shot. You know, because sometimes people just be in the wrong apartment, you know, their own, and get shot. So, don't go to your own apartment, guys. Sleep with somebody else. That's what I'm leaving on you. All right, thanks.
All right.
Go get guys one last time. Keep it going for them. Come on. Let's. We have one.